Hello, Scorpio. Welcome to your monthly reading for December 2023. This is for Scorpio and Scorpio rising. And if you're new to my channel, I do a traditional cult across spread. I also use astrology and my guides to help bring a lot more clarity, to get more specific and detailed with your reading, Scorpio. I do this because you know I love you. I love us Scorpios. I want you to feel like it's a personal reading, as if we're here one-on-one rather than a general spread. Lastly, I use astrology because it brings a lot more depth to your reading. So, Scorpio, we made it. We're in December. Listen, 2023 was a crazy year. It was a wild year. We had we had 4 eclipses. We had, Venus retrograde, which is a huge thing. Venus only retrogrades every 18 months, so it's not even going to retrograde next year. So it happened during when pretty much every other planet was retrograde at one point, other than Mars. So that was a heavy period. We had, Saturn moved into Pisces. That was a huge thing. We had the series finale for Succession, which was like major, obviously. But, this month, we also had a preview of Pluto moving into Aquarius. That happened earlier this year. And the reason why that's a big thing is because Pluto is officially moving into Aquarius in January for 20 years. And this is a huge thing that we will obviously talk about more next month. But Pluto moves into a different sign every 250 years. So we, as like a collective, as every human being on this planet is actually experiencing Pluto changing signs. It doesn't happen for everyone. It's a big thing. It's a big thing, and it's definitely going to have a lot of influence. This month, the great thing about this month is it's a loaded month. First of all, there's nearly 30 major aspects. I mean, I can't even begin to tell you. So I'm looking at the notes. I'm just like, there's just so much happening this month. Major things that are happening. If you want to go ahead and mark it in your calendar, December 27th, luckiest day of the month, best day of the month. Okay. Sun trining Jupiter, which is another rare aspect. It only happens twice a year. If we're lucky. Okay. If we're lucky, right? Next year, it's only happening once, but it's last time the Sun trine Jupiter was September 8th, if you want to think about what happened around that time. But this is going to be different because that time Jupiter was really retrograde. Okay. But now Jupiter is actually going direct this month. All right. So Jupiter, the Sun trining Jupiter is happening just a few days before Jupiter goes direct. So you may feel this one a little more. Other than Jupiter going direct, we have Neptune going direct. So by January, by next month, Uranus goes direct next month. So by January, all the planets are finally direct. They're finally in direct motion. And Jupiter, the planet of good luck, good fortune, prosperity, you're going to feel a lot more of that. And that is in your 7th house of partnerships and relationships, whether work, whether love. So it is a very, very, very nice thing because when all these planets are retrograde, we don't have the full, we don't feel the full powers of them, right? It's like your cell phone being at like 60% rather than 100%. Okay. But in many cases, it could have felt like 20%. But there is a lot going on. There's a lot going on this month. We have a full moon in Cancer. That's going to happen at the end of the month. We have a new moon in Sagittarius. By the way, money could be a big thing for you this month. I know that there was a reading recently where it was like money. It's like now, we have a new moon in your 2nd house of income, and you know that new moons bring new opportunities, new beginnings. So your finances, you could see some activity there with this new moon that's going to be on the 12th. If you're not here for money, as I always say, if you are like the king of Norway watching this video and you're like, money, come on. The 2nd house is the things that you value, self-worth and whatnot. But the reason why I believe money's going to be a big thing for you, one of the major aspects happening this month, Venus moving into your sign. And Venus is going to be in Scorpio pretty much all month. Okay. This is big it brings this intensity to love, a lot of sexual energy, huge, big time. Okay, big time sexual energy. If you're here for that, but it's there's this intensity to your passions. But Venus is not only love, but it is money too. And so it's in your sign. It's like Scorpios, y'all are gonna have a month that you'll never forget. Okay, I'm just going to tell you now. But let's go ahead and get started. There's just so much going on, Scorpio. Let's go ahead and get started. If you are new to my channel, two things. One, I do leave all the key astrological dates in the description box. Secondly, after I do your spread, stick around because I pull more cards. I break it down week by week. I tell you what's going on every week. One thing that I didn't mention yet, Mercury's going retrograde. Yep, Mercury will go retrograde this month. And so be prepared for that. It is going to possibly affect you a little bit more than you would think, because it is, we kick off Mercury moving into Capricorn on December 1st, but then it will go retrograde mid-month. And that we'll talk about that, but that is your third house of communication. Mercury is a planet of communication, and so keep that in mind. And just remember, Mercury retrogrades are not always like that bad, right? It's not like I did a video if you want to watch that on like 4 things not to do during Mercury retrogrades, but this one is there are some benefits to Mercury retrograde, so keep that in mind. But let's go ahead and get started, Scorpio. Again, this is for Scorpio and Scorpio rising if you know your birth chart, and if you do, I would recommend definitely reading for your moon and obviously your Venus if you know your Venus, because Venus is moving into Scorpio. So if you want more ideas of what's going on in those areas of your life, like more insight. So that said, Scorpio, let's get started. Let's see what's going on for you, okay, for December 2023. We made it. All right, we made it. Scorpio, like I said earlier, I do a traditional Celtic cross spread. Really brings the best overview, in my opinion. I will pull clarifiers because it is just so much happening this month. The other thing is I'm probably going to be talking really fast because these readings have been going to up to an hour, and I'm just like, oh my goodness. That's how much things are. There's so much happening this month. But you're good. You're good. Just get out of your head, okay? Get out of your head and you'll be fine, but you're good. This is going to be a very spiritually active month for you, it seems like. It's also, and one thing to keep in mind is actually that full moon in Cancer that we have toward the end of the month will be in your 9th house of spirituality anyway. So anyway, let's get started. Hey, you got the 10 of Pentacles. So it looks like a lot of y'all already have moved into this wealth in your life, whether, and when I say wealth, sure, it's raining pentacles in this card. It's raining money and wealth in the form of the tree of life. That's how significant this card is. But there's a lot more to it. This is, it is like your kingdom come. It's like there's a lot of prosperity. It's like the you made it card, a lot of success in this card. So a lot of y'all have come to this place where you've reached almost like a finish line. It's something that's coming through. There's like something that you've reached that you really wanted, that's brought this abundance into your life and wealth into your life. And if it is not money, remember, pentacles are physical reality too, our even material world. So it could be a lot of family energy exists in this card, as well as like legacy. Like I say, when you made it, there could have been some big moments that you had. There's a lot of inheritance in this card as well. There could have been things that you've inherited, but think of wealth in all forms of the word. Okay, so it doesn't have to do with money. It can be wealth in family, and wealth in your relationships, like just feeling that abundance. Like things are really nice. Things are really nice. But there is kind of like this, I'm getting like this next step. Like it's almost like, well, actually, when you think about the 10 of Pentacles anyway, 10 is 1, 0 equals 1. So it brings this new beginning. And this almost like takes you to this higher dimension. And I know that sounds like, so out there, but one thing I'm going to point out, because it's just looking at your spread, I feel like
it's necessary. This is the only card. Look, do you see? Okay, so you see all the abundance here. You see the family, the happy family. You see the hermit. He's finally made it. You see how big the castle is. So yes, a lot of abundance, a lot of growth, prosperity. But do you see the checkered wall in the background here? So that is very subtle. And it's almost kind of like hidden, but it really is representing this like next dimension. It's like there is, when I say y'all are going through transformations, like this year was a big one for you, okay? And you are ascending into a whole other level that you could not even imagine. And so be very proud of yourself. I mean, 2023, oh gosh, think about like the first half of 2023 for Scorpios. It's like, look at you now, okay? So be very proud of yourself. Think about where you were January 2023. Think about where you are now, okay? Now, judgment. Heart of your spread. Big, 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 big. Big. And remember, this is not a weekly reading. This is a monthly reading. Okay. So that spirituality that I was talking about, it's almost like you're ready for this next phase. The judgment card comes right before the world, right? So it's like the tail end of your journey, right? The hero's journey before you go through that next cycle. You can see Archangel Gabriel here blowing the trumpet, the dead are rising. You know, the dead are great. Great in tarot is wisdom. And so when you hear the blow of the trumpet, okay, two things here. What is that? It's sound, okay? Sound. What is sound? Sound is vibrations. And I talk about that all the time. We all vibrate at a certain frequency. We're all made of energy. So we are not only are you like, it's like you are ascending. When I say you're ascending, it's like your energy levels are going to be really high this month. And Einstein himself said it, match the reality of, match the frequency of the reality you want. You cannot help but get that reality. So you are going to be like vibrating at a high frequency. You can see that even the sound of the trumpet here, those vibrations, is raising the dead. And now they're awake, and now they've awakened, and now they're seeking this meaningful life experience. So that's an amazing thing that's happening. It's really awesome. The other thing is that sound is healing as well, okay? I mean, if you go through like the course of history, sound from day one, okay, whenever that was, it was, sound has always been used for healing, whether, Native American drum beats or Gregorian chanting, like it's always been used for healing. Gospel choir, it's just, so this is just super, super nice. I love this for you. It really is almost like if there was a sense, and I'm not saying that you were going through this, but if there is a sense, it's almost like someone who's just like on autopilot, right? Like you wake up, you have breakfast, you watch an episode of, The Walking Dead, you go to work, you have your lunch, you do yoga, you eat dinner, you go to bed. Next day is the same thing over and over again. It's like you're on autopilot, but now you have like so much to look forward to, and you're aware of everything. You're aware of all these great things that are happening for you. Okay, so have that awareness as you move through December. It's such a feel good feeling that's coming from your spread, as long as you get out of your head. Okay. Because there may be something about that. But before we even get there, you did get the King of Pentacles. However, you got the King of Pentacles in your challenge area. So the main thing here is like, yeah, money is going to be a big thing for you, but be very aware of not only spending. Venus and Scorpio in your sign can be indulgent, okay? So be mindful of others. Like if you have a family and you order, like a pizza, like at least give some to your, do you know what I mean? Like that's like, obviously that's the most lightest analogy, but it really is just more like there could be a sense of like you overindulging or overspending, but there's also a sense that where it could be like you're penny pitching the like, to a really, really like, really? Like, come on, like, it's only 5 cents more for the sprinkles on the ice cream. You know what I mean? Like that, be aware of that, because money is going to be very pivotal for you this month, especially with Venus in your sign. And Venus in Scorpio, and I don't know if you know this, if you know a lot about what Venus in Scorpio is, it brings that intensity to love, to money, to also creativity, but also, like I said, sexual energy is really heightened, but also your intuition is very heightened. Venus in Scorpio it can be intense. And so when I say intense, there's also a sense of like I said, overindulging, overspending, shopping a lot. Sure, treat yourself, but just be mindful of things, okay? Because you want to be practical about things and very pragmatic, especially if in partnerships and relationships, because that is like a big thing for y'all. But the other thing is, Venus in Scorpio is also like, there is an element of like jealousy that comes with that aspect. Just be mindful of that too. Like if your partner is talking to the mailman, like that's probably all like, they're just like, where's the mail? Okay. But you could be thinking, oh, what is going on here? And then like order a feast for dinner and you're like, you can't have any. Like, don't play those games. Don't play those games. Like, and the only reason I'm saying this is because you did get the Five of Swords in your crown, and Venus is going to be in Scorpio. Anyway, the Five of Swords in your crown, that is like a big thing. It can have to do with something like involving home, because this card is attributed to Aquarius. And like I said, Pluto is moving into Aquarius, which is a big deal. Okay. But even with that said, it doesn't matter that, there are no planets in Aquarius right now, but Aquarius is your 4th house. Okay. So starting in January, you're going to start taking home a lot more seriously. There's going to be something there. Okay. Got to be something there, whether it's 4th house is your domestic sector. So your home, you could be moving, you could be building like an Airbnb empire, but also like family is there, children is there, parents is there. All of that is in the 4th house. So there could be something there, especially because it is a holidays and you will be with family, or a lot of y'all may be with family or whatnot, New Year's Eve or whatnot. But even still, the Five of Swords in your crown is more about you, and it's more about you being in your head about something where it's like, you may want to like have your stinger, like your stingers are going to be out a little bit, especially with Venus in your sign. Venus is detriment in Scorpio, by the way. It's, Venus is, the ruler of Taurus, and that's your opposite sign. It's not a bad thing. It's just, opposite. So it's still like that intensity. And so you could just get in your head a little bit. And so just be mindful of that, especially when Mercury does go retrograde. Be careful about the way that you communicate things, okay? Promise me that, Scorpio. Do not leave me in the dark, okay? I guess I am in the dark already, so you know what I mean. Anyway, Scorpio, you got the High Priestess, okay? There you go. I love this for you. Again, I love it especially because you do have Judgment in the heart of your spread. Now you have the High Priestess coming up in the root of your spread, so when I say Venus in Scorpio, it's like intuition heightened to a whole other level, okay? It's a big deal. It's a big deal. And now you've got the High Priestess, who is, rules the moon, which is all about intuition. And so there is a sense of, and there's like this emotional factor with it, but with Judgment here, there is a sense of, you just being more spiritually active, you being more in tune with your intuition, to like a really high level. Okay. And intuition, it's so good to be in touch, with your intuitive side, to, let your intuition guide you, be in touch with your higher self, listen to your inner voice. All of that is really important. Okay. So, and she does come out when she says, hey, go within. You have a lot of those deep answers that you're seeking, like inside you. It's just a matter of you going within. So you could be doing a lot of that again with Venus moving into your sign. Oh yeah, that could be a big thing, and it's only going to serve you well, especially again with judgment in your in the heart of your spread. So again, don't overthink things or overanalyze things. If you do, trust your intuition. Okay, tap more into that. Well, all right, and it's you know, when you are in touch with your intuition, it's like everything is nicer. It's like you don't have to, like, you don't stress, you don't worry. Everything's cool. You know, everything's good. You don't need your stingers out. It's and you know, the other thing about intuition, it's like if you are into it's almost like you see more of those winks, you know, from the universe, like seeing the 1111s, or like seeing all those, like if something happens like synchronistically, if that I don't know if that's a word, you know what I mean, but it's really nice. Okay, that's all I'm saying. But there is just with the Five of Swords, again, just go more with your intuitive side. Now you have the Page of Swords in your future, so it looks like you will be getting a lot of messages. Okay, the pages are messengers, swords are the mental suit, so a lot of them, this is why it's important to trust your intuition. You can be getting a lot of, like, downloading a lot of messages intuitively. Remember, Venus in Scorpio heightens your intuition. So just be in touch with your intuitive side. There is a sense of like something new happening for you too, that you're very enthusiastic about, very eager about. With the Five of Swords here, just be careful again how about communicating and being a little like sharp, like your sword could be like really sharp, like stingers could be out with Venus in your sign. But even still, it seems like there is something that you are mentally like ready for, prepared for, moving through December. And there again can be something new that is brewing, even a new way of thinking. Especially again, pages are that fresh new energy, swords are the mental suit. It's coming right after the Judgment card. Remember, it's like that, the dead have awakened, right, to have this meaningful life experience, and now you see, and now you're just like, okay, like I'm good to go. But oh yeah, clarifiers. But I do love that for you, and it looks like you are good. So once again, so one thing that's happening here is this almost, it really is like, be careful with the way that you speak and communicate, okay? And I'm only saying that because you got the Page of Swords, but you also got the Seven of Wands and the Eight of Wands. And so it's almost like they're, let me just, okay, I'm going to tell you something here. Scorpio, let's talk. Let's have a little, so, oh, the other thing is that I forgot to mention is that a lot of these messages could be also in your external world. Like you could be you could be getting like messages about something. Like if you are, you know, applying for a job or a house or something, like you could be getting that message. So keep that in mind as well. It may be a big thing. But anyway, so you see you have the Page of Swords, Seven of Wands, and then the Eight of Wands. Okay. And so this is really great. I really love this for you. Especially, Eight of Wands. I mean, these are okay. So, Eight of Wands is a Sagittarius card. All right. And remember, I said that Sagittarius is your second house of money, of finances, of your income, but it's also like self-worth and self-value. And you have the Seven of Wands, where it is all about valor. So a lot of like self-worth, self-value here too. But they're coming right after the Page of Swords. And again, you have the Five of Swords in your crown. And so there could be a sense, the Page of Swords, who, by the way, has the best man bun in tarot. He is, you know, like, have you ever gone on a camping trip? If you've ever got, let's say like you're on a hike. Let's say you went on a hike with like 10 of your friends, and, you know, everyone is just like, you know, you've hiked for, you know, 200 hours, and you're just like, okay, let's take 15 minutes. Let's take 15 minutes to have a snack, just chill out. You know, we've been walking for, you know, a long time now, and everyone agrees to it. There's always that one person, right? That one person that's like 2 minutes in, All right, y'all, come on, get up. Yeah, what do y'all do? Get up. Let's go. Let's go. I don't want to do 15. I don't want to do 50 minutes. Okay, like let's go. Page of Swords is kind of like that. Okay, like he's young, he's eager, wants to get going. Okay, 7 wands right after it. So you could say some things that may, again, with the 5 of Swords in your card, some things that you better off maybe not saying. And the reason why I am really harping on this is Mercury will be going retrograde, and there's always miscommunication around Mercury retrograde. So just be mindful about the way that you speak, because, people could just not be, they could be coming after you. They were like, you don't talk to me that way. And then you have to like kind of just like, defend yourself and things like that. So just be careful, again, especially with Venus and Scorpio too. But if you're cool about it, if you're good about it, and you're like, very diplomatic and things are cool, and you're letting your intuition guide you, you're absolutely fine. You're going to be great. Everything is, you see the wands completely aligned here, like everything aligning for you. The wands are your passions, by the way. The wands are also, creativity, your ideas as well, but also very work related if you are here for work, enterprise work, but just think your passions. Now, remember what I said. It is a Sagittarius card, so it is your second house of, money and finances, but also self-worth and self-value. And again, you see the ones like completely aligned here, right? It is actually one of only 2 cards in all of tarot where there's nothing, no figure, no person, nothing but just one zipping through the air. Okay. Just pss, 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 pss. Think of them as, because it is a Sagittarius card, it actually is Mercury in Sagittarius, which I'm going to get to later because Mercury is going back into Sagittarius. This is a very strange Mercury retrograde. I wouldn't say strange, this is different because Mercury will retrograde in 2 signs, okay? And I think it's the first time since I started this channel that's happened. So it's going to be interesting. And again, I'll talk about it later, but again, Mercury all about communication as well. So, but also like up here. But even still, there is going to be movement for you. There's going to be a lot of movement for you. Just be careful about the things that you say. It could like be perceived as like, what? Let's get to your stuff, Scorpio. Scorpio, y'all, come on. Y'all make me laugh. By the way, if you like this reading, it would be great if you like, subscribe, leave comments. Let me know what's going on. Tell me how your year was. Tell me what I want to know. I really, truly want to know. And if you are a subscriber, thanks so much for being here. Y'all are amazing. I wouldn't be here without you. So I am truly grateful. I really do appreciate it. So Scorpio, you're good. You're good. You're just don't, come on. Just, there's so much power in words, and just be mindful about the way that you speak about some things that may arise, but it's all about more like trusting your intuition, letting your intuition guide you, having that like, moment. By the way, did you know, like like from like yoga and whatnot, and like meditation, that it's, this is something that I've read in a couple different like resources, but it's believed that was the very first sound when the universe was born. Isn't that crazy? Do you love my trivia? Scorpio, come on. Now, you're good. You're good. You're absolutely good here. A lot of y'all are definitely moving into like these new things. And then remember what I said about like home and family. Like it could likely be like, it's got to be a big thing for you for the next 20 years starting in January. But even still, you did get the 4 of Wands, which is really great. Just, keep your eyes on the prize. This is really great. There's a lot of like, like blessings, and there's a lot of like you just getting things that you want with this card. This is a card of celebration. It is a card of milestones. It's a lot of domestic related, as in you getting proposed to, you getting married, you moving in with someone, you having a baby. So a lot of that, but also at the same time, remember they are one. So it is like you getting like a new job or getting a promotion, or they just think like milestones in your life. Like it's really nice. It's absolutely, I really love this card. I 1000% love this card, and it is actually attributed to Venus. Okay, so Venus, as you know, is like at play in your sign this month. Venus and Aries here, and for you, that is your that is also another big thing that happened this year. It was the shifting of the nodes, like the North Node moving into Aries was a big thing that went into your sixth house. So like everyday activities is sixth house, your routines, even like habits and whatnot, but also work. Okay, so that's part of your daily activities, more like the process of work, like hiring employees or things like that, or but it's still work is like a thing here. But I really love this for you, and it seems like a lot of y'all will want that too, like having these big milestones that you reach. Now, you did get the Two of Swords in your external factors area, so there is going to be some sort of decision that you're going to have to really just go deep and think about. Okay, so what's really interesting about this is that you did get the High Priestess, and now you have the Two of Swords in your external factors area. You see they both have the sliver of the moon. So once again, trust your intuition, go within. It really is like there could be like a decision that you have to make, but there's also, it really is just if you see what's happening at your entire spread, that's almost like it's like back to that yoga reference. Let's say you are doing yoga. Let's say you are meditating or whatnot, and then you hear people like laughing and partying like suddenly outside your window, and you're just like you're trying to have these moments, and then these people are getting like a little bit more like louder and louder and louder, and they're talking about like golden grams, and you hate golden grams, and that's just like, okay, that's it. Remember, be very careful about if anything arises, like just it's more about you being into. And so with the two, and again, the sliver of the moon here, just trusting your intuition, really going within to the point where you're comfortable taking off that blindfold. There may be a decision that you have to make, but it really is just like more going within, because you may be doing, it's almost like you may need to do a little bit more than you're thinking, right? You see that there's like kind of like this tug of war with your spread. It's like all of it's like you definitely want to have this spiritual moment. You definitely want to have this awakening and really trust your intuition. But there is like something going on up here where it's like, what? Like, don't do that, and I'm gonna get you, like that kind of energy. So really, again, just go within and tries. And this card is actually attributed to Moon in Libra, and so that is your 12th house anyway, and the 12th house is the subconscious. So really just going deep. Okay, and you also got the Magician, which is great. I love the fact that you got the Magician. There is a sense of you wanting something new, and it looks like you're gonna get it with the Page of Cups too in your final outcome, because remember, you have that Page of Swords in your future, and now you have the Page of Cups in your final outcome, and so that's 2 pages in very significant parts of your spread here. And the Page of Cups is, it has very scorpionic energy. Okay, very the Page of Cups, very there is something new coming through. It could be something that, again, you get a message or an email, something about something that you wanted, and it's very exciting for you. It's something that it's like you've wanted this. It's going to help you follow your bliss, okay? Something that you perhaps have been trying to manifest or wanting to manifest, or again, there's so much happening in December. I can't even begin to tell you, but but I will, of course. But there you go. Page of Cups. which is absolutely amazing. And there is the Page of Cups is highly intuitive. Remember, cups are your emotions, it's feelings, but it's also like intuition as well, and like wonderment and whatnot. But yeah, but there still is another card that's just saying like go with your intuition this month. And Scorpio, come on, y'all rule the 8th house. Like intuition is a big thing for you. Venus being in your sign is going to heighten your intuition, so hold on to that energy. And I say it all the time, y'all are just, you know, one of the most intuitive signs anyway. Okay, so you're good, it's just there may be a moment where it's just like you may be more in your head than in, you know, like spiritually or like intuitively, and you may even, and it may make you like bring like self-doubt in terms of in things, but just again, trust your intuition. Every time you feel that, you know, if something does happen and you start thinking, if you find yourself like thinking too much about it, just close your eyes and just take like a deep breath, and that's going to help. Okay. And you know, meditate where, or you don't even have to meditate. Just go on a long walk, or it didn't even have to be a long walk. Just go on a short walk. But do it in nature. If you're close to nature, that really helps. Anyway, I am rambling. Let's get started. Okay, so I'm going to break it down week by week, okay? Scorpio, week by week. Let's see what's going on. First week, we have of December, we have 8 aspects that are major aspects. I mean, this is a really, like, so when I say December is loaded, there's a lot happening. Okay? On the 1st, Mercury officially moves into Capricorn. Very different energy from Mercury and Sagittarius, okay? Mercury and Capricorn, again, like I said, Mercury is all about communication, all about, you know, logic and whatnot, thinking, and it's moving into Capricorn, which happens to be your 3rd house of communication. So it's almost like at this point you're just going to be a little bit, you know, more serious about long-term goals, being more strategic, just thinking more practically and pragmatically. Now, Mercury is going to be in Capricorn until February. Can you believe that? Well, it is very rare. Like I said, there's a lot of rare things happening this month. And so Mercury, a very fast moving planet, which only spends 2-3 weeks tops in a sign, is in Capricorn until February. So their big reason for that is it's backspin when Mercury goes retrograde. It really goes retrograde, like out of Capricorn back to Sagittarius, and that's why. And so we'll talk about that later. But so these are days where, so this is going to be a big week for you. You, Scorpio. And the reason why is on the 3rd, Venus is going to square Pluto. Now, I cannot even begin to tell you how big of a day this is going to be for you. Venus is, remember, so let me break it down. Venus squaring Pluto is all about love. It's all about money. It's all about power. It's all about control. It's all, you know, and Pluto is your ruling planet. So why is this such a big deal for you is because the day after is when Venus actually moves into Scorpio. So remember, these aspects are points in time. So you clump these 2 days together. Wow. Very, very powerful moving into your sign. And so Venus and Scorpio, as I explained, very like your passions heightened. There's a lot of intensity and passions in sexual energy as well. There is, you know, Venus and Scorpio is all or nothing. Okay. It's all or nothing. It's in it to win it. It's you're with me or you're not. And it's like, it's intense. And it's, it really is. It brings like I said, it like heightens your intuition. It brings this like level, this deep level of like commitment energy. That's what Venus and Scorpio wants. Okay. It wants that commitment. It wants that like authenticity is a big thing. Loyalty is a really big thing. So that's why when Venus goes into Scorpio, it's so heightened, all that so heightened. It can also bring like moments of like jealousy and like envy. And so just be like mindful of that. But the reason why I really, really like this and really strong emotional connections too with Venus and Scorpio. But the reason why I like this, like weirdly like this, is because Venus square Pluto is almost like I don't know if you ever saw the movie The Proposal with Sandra Bullock and Ryan Reynolds. Like, they hated each other in the beginning, but then they fell in love in the end. Okay, so it's almost like that. There is this kind of like vibe around that. If you're not here for love or romance, it can be work too. It's like you could really, really not like your boss, and the feeling is mutual. But around this time, something happens where you finally see eye to eye, and then you eventually become like BFF. It's like, so I kind of, it's such an interesting, because what happens after that? Okay, so Venus square Pluto, and then Venus enters Scorpio on the 4th, and then on the 5th, Venus is trining Saturn. So you see these 3 really big Venus aspects back to back. So Venus trining Saturn, Saturn brings that commitment energy. Venus in Scorpio already wants that commitment. Venus trining Saturn the next day, saying, okay, let's bring it. Let's do it. Let's take this for the long haul. And so it is like bringing this stability to it. It's really, really interesting the first week. And then Neptune will go direct on the 6th. It's been retrograde since the 30th. That will be a big thing for you. Well, for everybody, but I'll talk about that more later. But let's see what's going on for you, okay? Those are the main ones. There are obviously a lot more aspects happening that week, but we'll talk about it later. But in the weeklies. But let's go ahead and see what's going on for you for the first week of December. Oh, look at you! You got strength. Okay, so you're good. You're I'm not surprised, actually, you know, with the fact that you got the 10 of Pentacles. That's really great. And it's like, already there's this like empowerment energy that's going through you, especially like we're still in Sagittarius season. Remember, that is self-worth, that self-value, that is you finding, you know, value in not only your material world, but like your relationships and whatnot. It can be work, can be career, the things that you do, but also now you have strength, which is all about like that inner courage and having that strength and feeling confident and feeling bold as you move into December. And so this is really amazing. It's one of the reasons I'm going to point out too is that you got the only 2 cards in all of tarot where they have the symbol of infinity over their heads. Infinite possibilities that are coming this month that comes with the strength that you have and the action you take. Okay. These 2 cards are all about action. Okay. So it really is one thing with the strength card. When the strength card shows up, it really is also taking action to resist the things that you know you shouldn't be doing. Okay. But also what really matters here, if you're into numerology, I mean, strength is card 8. Okay. And then you have the circle 8s here with both the strength magician. And remember, I said these were the only 2 where they have that, where they have the symbol of infinity. And then you have 8 in your future, the 8 of wands. And so it's kind of a big deal. It really is, because if you think about it, 2023 was a year of 7. 2024 is a year of 8. And it is a big deal. It's a big deal. And Scorpio, you are the ruler, the native ruler of the 8th house. Hey, that's that. Come on. And when you have that, you're going to, come on, and we're going to talk about, you know, the 8-year, okay, next year. It's going to be, 2024 is going to be so different from 2023, by the way. Very, very different. Very, very different. And you're going to continue to go through a lot of transformation in a big way. Okay. I want you to know that, especially starting like around May. Anyway, let's see what's going on. Okay. So the second week, of December 11th. I really like this day. Mercury sextile Venus. Really fun, sexy day. It's really cool. I like it. On the 12th is when we have the new moon in Sagittarius. Now, I'm going to explain why this is such a big deal for you is because first, it's in your second house. Again, that is money. So there's some, new moons bring new beginnings, new opportunities, new paths, new beginnings, right? But this new moon is conjuncting Mars, your traditional ruler. So this is going to be a big one. This is for you. It's going to be, again, Jupiter and Saturn are very, like, they're in a good position. They're, doing slow dance. It's a great, I love this new moon. I love this new moon, especially for you. And remember, they're both it's all happening in Sagittarius. Okay. Second house of money. And again, if you are the king of Sweden or wherever, watching this, where you've got gold bars, like literally, like you're sitting on them right now in a golden chair, whatever, and money's not a thing for you. It's you. Okay. It's the comfort level in terms of instability, in terms of like your self-worth, self-value, the things that you value, things like that. So now on the 13th is when Mercury goes retrograde. So again, Mercury retrograde. I'll leave the video at the end of this video, the Mercury retrograde video I did, things not to do or to watch out for, and the reason why it's good. Again, you may really feel it. You may really feel it because Mercury is going retrograde in Capricorn, which is your third house. And don't forget, Pluto is currently in Capricorn. Your ruling planet is currently in Capricorn as well, like in your third house. So again, just be very mindful about the way that you speak, because Mercury retrogrades are all about, there is a level of miscommunication that is like out of control sometimes. It's also like, if you are traveling, which you could be doing, because we're talking about the third house here, right? So there's rules, short distance travel. Just be mindful. There could be delays or whatnot. It just, as long as you're prepared mentally, it's like water off a scorpion's back. Okay. It's gonna be, and I do that all the time. I have traveled during Mercury retrogrades, and, sometimes nothing happens and I'm fine. But then there are other times where it's like a comedy of errors, where like the ticket booth, is not working, and then like the flight is delayed 20 minutes, then 30 minutes, and an hour, then 2 hours, and then there's something wrong with this seat. Like, it's just like that could happen. It could happen. So as long as you are prepared for it, emotionally, physically, mentally, everything, spiritually, then you'll be fine. Okay. Again, water off a scorpion's back. So with that said, let's see the new moon in Sagittarius. Remember, this is going to have a lot. The energy of this is really, really great. All right, let's see what's going on for you, Scorpio, for the second week of December. There you go. You're fine. You're good. You listen. So not only did you get the Page of Cups, you got the Knight of Cups, and the Knight of Cups is really great coming after the Strength card, especially because remember, there's been so much focus for y'all on partnerships and relationships this year, and it's still going to be a big thing for y'all moving, next year too. And Knight of Cups is like, he's like the Mr. Romantic, the knight in shining armor, but there's also like, he is just looking to fulfill his emotions and his passions. He wants to be like emotionally fulfilled. He wants to fill his cup, basically. And so if you're not here for partnerships, relationships, that's what I'm saying, is like, you may just be like really now just like, I really want to like be emotionally fulfilled with the passions that you have. I really love this for you. And it looks like, again, with the new moon in Sagittarius, there's something like a new relationship could be formed, new partnership could be formed around this time. So pay attention to that. I really love this for you. now, and with the Page of Cups and the Knight of Cups, there's just like definitely something coming through. Oh, and with the Eight of Wands in your future, and with the Page of Swords in your future, yeah, just you can count on it. There is definitely something new that's gonna, be very nice for you this month. And now the third week, okay, Scorpio, third week. On the 18th, I really love Mercury trining Jupiter. We'll talk about this more in the weekly reading, but it's such a nice aspect. It's very earthy, very grounding. Remember, Mercury is retrograde at this point, and so it's Jupiter too. But there could be something that you hear around this time regarding relationships and partnerships. And with Mercury retrograde, it is a window to the past. There is usually during Mercury retrogrades, a lot of people from the past come up. All right. Whether you run into them, it's always interesting. All right. So always, pay attention to those moments. Like they're always for a reason. There's Mercury, for example, like even for me, like one Mercury retrograde that I still remember to this day is like, there's a former boss that, I had worked with, and I hadn't heard from her for 3 years. And during a Mercury retrograde, she emailed me. She's like, "Hey, I'm starting this new team at this, the company and whatnot, and I want you to come back, and these are the details for the role. I think you're perfect." And it was like a big role, and I took it, and but don't sign contracts obviously during Mercury retrograde, but I did, like after. So anyway, it's so those kind of moments, like you never know. 21st, Sun officially moves into Capricorn. We officially move into Capricorn season. Now we're talking like long-term goals. Now you are in it to win it. Now, remember, Saturn is a ruling planet for Capricorn. So it's really like just being, very practical, very ambitious, to taking your passions and your goals a lot more seriously now. It happens the same day as the winter solstice, FYI, which is in the northern hemisphere, summer in the southern hemisphere. But what's really interesting is that the day after, we do have a Mercury Cazimi, which is really great. It is the same day on the 22nd where Mercury moves into Sagittarius. So do you see how it gets interesting? Because Mercury's in Capricorn, Mercury retrogrades in Capricorn, but then it retrogrades way back to Sagittarius, where it was last month. I mean, it's very interesting. So at this point, you could be thinking about money matters and just, reassessing maybe your finances too. Thinking about like, better ways to manage finances or whatnot. Remember, Mercury retrograde is just reassessing things, rethinking things. And then the Sun will sextile Saturn on the 24th. I really like this. So let's see what's going on for you, Scorpio, for the third week of December. 9 of Swords. You got to get out of your head. This is the so 5 of Swords, and then 7 of Wands, with the 2 of Wands, your external factors area. So I'm not surprised the 9 of Swords did come up. So there is something where like let's be very careful about the way that you communicate. There is, at this point we're like deep in Mercury retrograde. Okay. So again, just be very careful about the way that you communicate, because you don't want to like regret there. With this card, there is an element of like regret. There's an element also of like, why did I do that? Okay. So there's, and I'm only saying that because of your spread here. Okay. So I'm not like, but there is, also hope in this card. There's this, you can see the comforter. It's full of, these beautiful roses, astrological symbols. It's like, so yeah, you can find comfort by just like dwelling on things where you're just like, or you can find comfort getting out of that bed and facing tomorrow. Right. So, I'll even clarify it for you. How much time do we have? Fun. Oh, fun. So Scorpio, let me, clarify this for you. We're close to the hour mark. I hope you're okay with that. I'm sorry. I know that I talk too much. Okay. So let's see let's see. Oh yeah. Okay. So, just get out of your head and don't say anything that you're going to regret, and you'll be fine. Okay. You'll be absolutely fine. a lot of it really can be something that is like, it's almost like with Venus and Scorpio is like, I can't even begin to tell you how big of a thing that will be for you. So it could be something that like you say, or even someone saying something to you and you are actually reactive rather than responsive. So remember, communication is key. Okay. But you do see that you got the King of Cups. Okay. So just be, you don't have to be here. Okay. And should something happen, just have that resolution ready and just be like, I'm going to take care of this. Just make sure that things are cool. The King of Cups is Scorpio, by the way, and so this is almost like you. It's Venus and Scorpio being in your first house is such a big deal. I can't even, but we'll talk about it more. But you see, by the way, so it's you have the Knight of Swords flanked by the Knight of Cups and the King of Cups. And so there is some sort of something that could have some sort of like emotional impact on you, or something that, well, I'm sorry, something like something that you're committed to emotionally. It can be work, it can be, books that you read, whatever it is, but there is something that happens where it's just like, oh gosh, and now you're in your head. You're gonna be fine as long as you don't draw your swords, as long as you don't do anything say anything where it could be something where you're like, I probably shouldn't say this. So that's why trusting your intuition is going to be so important this month, okay? Because it's going to help. And there is, also, I should remind you that we, as human beings, sometimes we have a tendency to blame ourselves for things that are not our faults anyway, right? Like if you're, accidentally, like if someone bumps into you on the street, you're like, oh, sorry. Do you know what I mean? Like sometimes we do that when we don't need to, okay? There's gonna be a moment where it may be something where it's like, you could overanalyze something that happened and you could think that it was when it's not, okay? That's why, as long as you trust your intuition, you have all the answers, okay? You did get the High Priestess here, and the Two of Swords. Now, let's see, where are we now? Are we on the third? Okay, so last week. Okay, so the last week of, oh gosh, and this is the biggest week. Okay, so 56 minutes. Okay, so this is the biggest, oh gosh, it's such a big week. Venus trine Neptune. Really love this. This is going to happen on the 25th. Remember, Venus is in your sign. Neptune happens to be in Pisces in your 5th house, okay? And so that's love, that's pleasure, that's romance, that's family, that's children. This is a week of holidays too for many people, okay? So you will be around children and family and whatnot, but it's also creativity and imagination is a big thing here too. Now, the Sun sextiling Saturn the day before, I feel like this is when you're possibly going to make like your New Year's resolution. If you do that, you're going to do it a week early. We have the full moon in Cancer on the 26th. Okay. Really love this. I love this full moon. It is in your 9th house of spirituality. Okay. Of, even education. There could be, something education, like something to do with education that happens around this time. Some of y'all could be graduating from something or finishing up a study or a course, but there is Mercury squaring Neptune this day. And so remember, Mercury is retrograde and Neptune does bring like this element of like illusion to it. So it's just a day where just, again, have some clarity in things that are said and done. Remember, this full moon's energy lasts a lot longer and it's a lot stronger than the Mercury squaring Neptune aspect, which is just like a day, so keep that in mind, if a day or like give or take. But so the 26th is when I said we have the full moon in Cancer. The very next day is when we have the Sun trine Jupiter. And again, this is a big thing. This is the luckiest day of the month. It's the best day of the month. So it is all about optimism. There's a lot of luck here, a lot of joy, a lot of growth. Something new really could come. Full moons bring culmination, but this is really something you know, when something ends, something new begins. It's like a new level of something or whatnot. And I really love the Sun trine Jupiter because not only is that happening on the same day, Mercury will conjunct Mars. We will talk about this later, but this is when it comes to that weekly, but this is just you being so sharp, so laser focused. It's very Einstein. This like I love this. Okay. And then on the 29th, Venus leaves your sign, moves into Sagittarius. And so we'll talk about this more when we get to this. But remember what I said from the very beginning, Sagittarius being your second house. So we're not done here yet with money, okay? So Venus, the planet of money, moving into Sagittarius, ruling your second house of money. So you are not done with money. It's moving into January too. And then Jupiter goes direct on the 30th. On the 31st, definitely go out. Really great time to go out for New Year's Eve. A lot of y'all will possibly have wonderful, amazing moments doing that, okay? Because we do have a really great Earth trine, the moon in Virgo, Jupiter in Taurus, Sun in Capricorn. I mean, this is absolutely amazing. You know, that Virgo, moon in Virgo, this is really great. That's your 11th house, your social network. So you really should. Jupiter in Taurus, your 7th house of partnerships, relationships, like go out with your partners, go out with your colleagues, go just have a fun time. And with that said, the last week, as you can see, is a loaded week. So let's see what's going on for you, Scorpio, for the last week of December. You're good. You're 1000% good. This is, if you feel like concerned about it, you're gonna be good. Sorry, that was my second time almost. You're gonna be fine. You're gonna be good. You got the Ace of Swords. Remember I said Mercury conjuncting Mars is like, it's like, there you go. This is a huge, like, ushering in change. Okay, aces are all about changes, new beginnings. Remember I said that full moon in Cancer has this, brings conclusion. Full moons also illuminate things, but immediately following it is Sun trining Jupiter with Mercury conjuncting Mars. I mean, there could be something like huge, because swords are about change too. And so a lot of it, like with clarity, again, with that Mercury conjunct Mars is a big thing. Mars are, you know, traditional ruler, but even still, like, you're gonna be fine in the end. A lot, and there also could be, you know, with everything that is happening in your third house, and then also now with the Ace of Swords coming up, looking at your entire spread here, there could be a contract for you to sign, okay? Just remember, don't do it while Mercury's retrograde. If you can, okay? It doesn't, you can sign contracts during Mercury retrograde. It's just advised that, you know, if you do, read the fine print, do all of that. Remember, Mercury does, you know, oh gosh. Okay. So, you see, okay. So you know that you're good, right? You see that. Okay. So this is just a thing where, just trust your intuition. And in the end, you're going to be 1000% fine because you did get the Ace of Swords. That is more you. There's a lot of like power with that. There's a lot of power in knowledge as well here. There's a lot of victory with this card. You see the crown. And then if you are at odds with anyone, especially with the 5 of Swords energy, you see the olive branch here. So there's a sense of peace that comes with this card too. Making peace, like truce energy too. But anyway, you're going to be fine. You're going to be good. Thank you so much, Scorpio. You're amazing. If you like this reading, it'd be great if you like, subscribe, leave comments. And if you're a subscriber, thanks so much for being here. Y'all are amazing. I will see you next week.